Hello everyone, Fred Jones here, and welcome to another episode of Afterschool Guru Presents. Today our conversation is with Dr. Shea and Danaly Perez from the Oxnard School District and the Oxnard Scholars Program. In this episode, the team from Oxnard shares some of the amazing work they're doing with their staff and discuss the topic, how do we take the task of learning online? I was blown away by the collaborative spirit that we saw in the district and how the after-school program was embedded in the district's response to support students and families during the COVID crisis. You can find links to the Oxnard School District and the Oxnard Scholars Program in the video description. So let's get started. Thank you for watching, and please hit the like button, or even better, leave a comment and let us know what you think. Good afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, and welcome to Afterschool Guru Presents. And this conversation that we'll be having today with Danaly Perez from Oxnard School District and with Dr. Gshea from the Oxnard Scholars, all right? So we are very excited to have them come in and share their knowledge on the topic of expanding learning into online, all right? So what we wanted to do, though, I always like to start off by letting you guys know a couple of things. The intent of this whole webinar is for this information to eventually end up on YouTube, where it will be edited down to just the real bones of the content, right? So we're going to focus on what Dr. Shea and Ms. Perez has to say in terms of the work. And then there will be moments, though, because of the interaction of the webinar, that your faces may pop up every now and then on the screen. So if someone just turned off the video, I just wanted to let you know that. So if you choose to not show your video because of that, that's totally fine. But most of the time it's going to be on speaker view. So as you're probably noticing, if I'm speaking, you're seeing me. All right. So that's what we're going to do. But I just wanted everyone to know that. And just don't worry about it. You all look beautiful. So no one needs to be worried about it. But just to let you know. So the video is now running. We're going to go ahead and get started in it. My name is Fred L. Jones. I own a company called Afterschool Guru, and I'm really excited that I partnered with the California Afterschool Network to create this webinar series. I see Troy just popped in, and the whole idea was trying to provide support to the field right now in the times of this madness that is COVID. You know, I just got off a call, and we were talking about how COVID has become the answer to everything. Oh, this has had COVID. Oh, I couldn't get this COVID. You know, so we're all in this kind of world where we're just reacting all the way to all of these things that are happening outside of us. And what we try to provide here is a space where people can learn about techniques and strategies to deal with it. Not only to deal with it as an educator, as someone who's supporting students, families, parents, and yourself, but to take care of yourself, right? To make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're giving yourself the tools that you need to be successful. Because we have to fix ourselves before we can go out and fix anybody else, right? So before we get started on that, I want to just say hello and introduce who's here. I introduced our guests, and we'll have a much longer introduction with them. But I wanted to introduce a couple of folks who I can't do this without. Number one is Miss Beth Pine. All right. Beth is going to be our co-host for this workshop. Beth is from the Mendocino County Office of Education and Fort Bragg School District. And Beth is also one of the TA fellows from the Expanded Learning School of Leadership and Facilitation. I had the honor of serving as her growth coach, and she is an amazing facilitator, a wonderful spirit, and she's agreed to come on board here to kind of help us facilitate this dialogue. So Beth, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Fred. And I am the one that's honored to be able to work with Fred.
Oh, stop. I only paid her a little bit to say that, just a little bit. All right. And so next, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Troy Selvey from the California Afterschool Network. Troy was instrumental in saying, you know, as I said, I have a lot of friends who I'm able to come to and say, I want to do this. And they're like, yeah, Fred, whatever, do it. We'll got you. We'll support it. And Troy was one of the people who jumped on board and said, yes, let's offer this as a resource. So Troy, you want to say hello really quickly to everybody?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join. Fred, man, you're giving me too much credit. This is your brainchild. I'm just happy to be a part of it. You know, in true collaboration for supporting the field, and what you do is amazing. So thanks for taking the time.
No, my pleasure, my friend. Without further ado, I want to start turning this over to our wonderful guests, Dr. Shea and Ms. Perez. Now, ladies, I know you have your title. Is it okay if I call you Ginger and Danaly? Is that okay? All right, cool. So Ginger, let's start with you, and then we'll move into Danaly. So I just want to really get a brief introduction from you. I have your bio here, and I know that you've got an incredible bio. Let's just put it like that. One of the things that I love is that you've been working in after school here for a long time, 20 plus years, with the after school education and safety funded programs in Title I District of Oxnard. And I also really appreciate the fact of all the committee works that you've been doing. We've all know that the California After School Network is huge. We know that California Department of Education, because of the funding, has a lot of moving parts. And it's people like you guys who are in there doing that work that really supports that. So I appreciate that. And I didn't know, though, that you co-chair the Summer Learning Implementation Committee. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about that, because I love summer learning. And finally, congratulations on the, your programs being awarded the Distinguished After School Health Dash Award. So that's a wonderful thing. Absolutely, give you a round of applause for that. So now that I kind of give you that introduction, would you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and just really briefly, how did you come to be here in after school? How did you come to be here?
Well, nice to meet everybody today. This is a great showing of people from all over the state, which is really nice. I had the opportunity to apply for a position that was after school, and I've been here ever since, really, working with the city of Oxnard since I came to after school, and it's a really wonderful partnership. I think it's really wonderful because they are really the experts in youth development, and working through the recreation department and cultural and community services, I think is now the correct title. We've been able to take the best of both worlds to design and create our program.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Danaly, I am so sorry. I do not have your full bio in front of me, so I'm going to have to rely on you to tell us of all the wonderful work that you've been doing and your history leading up to here and to your work with the Oxnard School District.
Hi, everybody. So, yeah, I've been working after school. I've been an employee for the city of Oxnard since 2007. And I started out by working in after school, and I've been working up the ranks since then, working primarily as a recreation lead early on, then became a site coordinator, all within after school youth programs. I've worked, we have a mobile activity center over the summer, so I've had some experience on the community, providing services for the kids all throughout Oxnard. So a lot of my experience is mainly through youth programming.
Awesome. Wow, wow, that's amazing. So I think what we're saying, and this is what I love, when I both mentioned this to Ginger at the very beginning, we were putting this together, and I thought it was going to be just Ginger. And when I love it, she said, no, I need to bring my team on with me. And that to me spoke a lot, because what it says is that Ginger recognizes the idea, yeah, we have our program, but we're part of the district. We're part. And so, and I see that from the way you ladies have worked. So tell me, this is my question for you. What do you think has been the biggest contributing factor for you to have that viewpoint? Like what allows you guys to think like that? Because I can see that you're very much in synergy. How did that happen? Because that's not something that just happens naturally.
Well, I think at the end of the day for us, the main focus is the kids that we serve. So the kids in our community are really the driving force behind, what we do, and being able to establish that partnership for them has really been the.
Yeah, we lost your last word, but I think we got the gist of it. Ginger, did you want to add anything to that?
I really do think that it's the acknowledgement of their skill set in being really great youth developers, and really employing a young workforce to come in and be excellent role models for our children. They all live and grow up in the community, and they're coming back to serve the kids in our community. So the program staff really are a reflection of what where our students come from. And then, the other side of that partnership has been to access the curriculum and the pedagogy and the things that the district does. And so the partnership, by having the district and the city working really closely together, creates sort of a seamless transition for our kids into the after school program, and creates a real strong environment for success.
I love that. I love that. And I think that, again, the language that you use speaks to it. I think a lot of times when we think in terms of after school programs, especially from the micro lens of looking from just our site, when we think in terms of the stakeholders, we tend to think of just, oh, the principal and the teachers and stuff, but it's the district and it's the city, and all of those people are stakeholders in us in this part. So I think that's huge. And now let's take that whole idea, right, of this synergy of communication, and now let's apply this to this crisis. Okay, now you got this great program that's rolling along, you know, you got this wonderful curriculum, you have this wonderful union, and now all of a sudden kids go home. We got to figure this out. What have you guys been doing? And let's go ahead and start to get into this topic of how you really focus on expanding learning into the online environment.
So this has really been interesting. On the grant is awarded to the district, and we partner with the city to provide our program, but we also have several other contracts that we have to enhance our program that we use and work with together. So I'm going to navigate a little bit through that and then really expand and let Danaly expand on how the Oxnard Scholars have stepped up and are producing some content for us. But you know, from a district perspective, we contract with some fairly small businesses. Our hip hop program is a group of like eight people working together to go into the community and do hip hop, and all of a sudden, boom, everything stopped, and now they're unemployed, or they're, you know, having to navigate their contracts. And so I really looked at the contracts we have in place, worked with our director of finance to figure out how we could continue to work with them and pay them to continue to be part of our program. And it's through our hold harmless language that we've been able to do some of that. And they have been providing us access to content that not only is just shared with our after school program, but is shared with our entire district. And that is for every one of them. We've been working to populate content on our after school program page with the school district, and I can navigate there and share my screen in just a minute. But working with them has, working together with them to provide some content has been really great. And I will tell you that one of I think the best ideas came from the Scholars Program, which is working on some videos that could be shared. One of our hurdles is, how do we get this information and content to our students? Our after school program isn't necessarily connected electronically. So we are working to use our OSD TV channel, our Facebook page, the city's Facebook page, and Danaly, they're getting it out on the city's channel too, correct?
I believe that's the goal. We're not quite there yet, but that would ultimately be the goal, yes.
And so just, and Ginger, just for clarity, I just want to clarify a couple of things. So when you say, number one, give us a scope of how many students are we talking about?
Well, our program, our after school program serves on any given day between 2,500 and 3,500 students.
Okay.
Depending on the day and our junior high flux of how kids attend. But our district is 15,000 students.
Okay, good. And then the other question is,
it's a K-8 elementary school district.
K-8. Perfect. All right. And when you say OSD TV, tell us what that is.
That is a channel that it's like a public channel that's been given to the district to air and broadcast our board meetings, as well as any other content. So from the after school program, we're pulling together fitness and other types of enrichment that will populate that. But our Ed Services department is pulling together really early learning videos and activities for kids in TK K1 because they might not be so strong at navigating an iPad.
Okay. I love that.
We're working to populate that. So the schedule's been made. I think a couple of things have gone up this week on the OSD TV, but eventually the goal is to have a lot of the content just cycling through. And I know that that's what the city's planning to do on their page as well.
Wow.
And on their channel.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm really so impressed by that, because I just literally got off a call with some folks in New York, and they were talking about this issue of equity, right? How we have so many students who don't have internet access. And you guys have figured out a way by just putting it on public access channels. I love that idea. That's such a great strategy. So that's why I want to really draw attention to that. I'm sorry, please go ahead. That's amazing. Love that.
So I'll screen share again. From our district webpage, you can come from the home page, go to departments, go to after school program here, and then it links in. And then on the left-hand side of our page is where we are sharing lessons and activities so that our school sites can link to it or folks can navigate. So we've got some of the videos from the Scholars program. Danaly will talk about that in a minute. But over here, we've got the lessons that are coming in from Art Trek, one of our contracted providers, and they're providing us simple how-to, and they're providing those in English and in Spanish, which is a huge deal because a large portion of our district is Spanish speaking. Under the Let's Get Moving, our partnership with Hip Hop Mindset, they publish a 30-minute video on a daily basis. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is hip hop, Tuesdays and Thursdays is cardio. And so they're posting their videos here for kids to be able to access them from a YouTube channel and get in to participate in an activity. Now, these and the art lessons and anything else, any educator, any adult, any child in our district has access to these right now. And that's because Hip Hop Mindset has said, if we can continue to work together, we will provide this and you can use it in whatever way that you want to. What's really nice is by having our program create its own content, we're not limited by FCC rules to be able to share. And that's a big deal. Right now on our page, we have Let's Get Reading. And I don't have anything there right now because we're still navigating copyright and trying to find books that are in public domain that we can share. And so even though we've got a lot of publishers, we're hearing like Harry Potter has opened everything up, they haven't really opened it up to put it on a TV channel. They've opened it up to put in a Google Classroom where you have to log in to get to the content and it's not totally public. Yeah. So we're navigating that, trying to find things that we can do some read alouds and bring in some familiar faces in the district to be able to do the reading with students. I know we have Miss Morrison on the call here. And she's got books and we're trying to figure out how we can get her reading some of those books. Miss Mo is a former principal in our school district and comes back and does a lot with the Oxnard Scholars program.
Oh, I love that idea. I love that idea.
So Danaly has been working with her team and I'm about to turn it over to you. So you need a minute?
She's getting that last sip, right?
Water. I'm good.
Danaly is going to talk about what ideas they came up with and how she's been navigating and doing things with her staff and her team.
Right. So, obviously with all this happening, we were trying to find ways to, keep our staff working and keeping them active or, connecting with the kids, not just within our after school program, but within our community as well. So as Ginger mentioned, we're working on videos that are being pushed out through our social media, our Oxnard Recreation social media page on Facebook and Instagram. And basically every week, all 20 of our school sites are working as a team to create videos that, touch on the creative side. That's how they're divided on the school district page, or, getting them active. So there are all kinds of different videos that the staff are coming up with on a weekly basis. So every Friday, they'll upload their videos. We're big on Google right now because that's the easiest way for us to get access to what they're working on. So every Friday they're uploading their videos. And, the ones that have perfected their editing skills and are becoming their own little directors, we're moving forward, and that's what we're pushing out to, families to have access to.
I love that, Danaly. Sorry, my apologies. Question. So when you talk about this idea of your team, right? How did you get them to work together remotely? What were the strategies that led up to that kind of remote? Because obviously they're functioning well. How did you guys make that work?
So I think, Ginger kind of started it out with just introducing them to Zoom to start out. And then from there, throughout the school year before this even happened, I was trying to make the transition over to using the Google Suite, just so that this way we had access to everything, because we do have events that go on throughout the school year, and that was the easiest way to get access to, the numbers of participants for our events and things like that. So in terms of our staff, they had already kind of established or experienced using remote access through Google. So when it came to, having meetings and things like that, sharing with them how to use the Google Calendar so that they're able to connect with their staff. And as I mentioned, Zoom, that's how they're able to meet with their staff on a regular basis. So each site is having weekly meetings to discuss what their ideas are for their videos each week. And they've been able to establish plans and ideas moving forward that way.
Oh, love it.
I'd also like to chime in, because I think this is maybe a missed piece frequently. Every one of our site coordinators has a laptop that's been checked out to them, which really assists with the technology integration. And just before we shut down, it was make sure you take your laptop with you, because
and cell phone.
Yes. Yeah.
So they get a cell phone and a laptop. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so good. So now it's Danaly, you wanted to show us some video?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and share screen. The first video that I'm going to be showing is kind of like a recap that encompasses everything that our staff are participating in. And let me pull that up.
Wow, that was so good.
One of the things that while Danaly's navigating to the next video is that every Wednesday, the after school program staff are helping with delivering and giving food in partnership with Food Share here locally, and that has been a big endeavor. I think they're feeding over 1,000 families on Wednesdays, and that's really huge. And their help in lifting the groceries in and out of the car. I think Danaly, you were telling me about how sore your shoulders were after the first week.
Well, I'm not loading anything into cars. I'm just waving cars over. So I perfected the signs to get people to stop and to go. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. While it's very tiring work, but it's been really rewarding and a lot of fun for a lot of our staff from what they've shared. So it's been great to experience that.
Wow. Well, it looks like it's fun. I mean, you can see it. You can really see the joy that they're having. And whoever the staff was who dressed up in the costume, I mean, number one, where'd she get that costume? Like, it's like awesome. I love that. Amazing, amazing.
So I'll move on to our second video, and this is from our McAuliffe After School program. And this is just one of the samples of the many videos that we get from our school sites.
Hey guys, my name is Miss Lopez.
My name is Mr. S.
My name is Miss K.
My name is Miss J.
My name is Miss Saya. My name is Jasmine
From Oxnard Scholars After School program.
We hope that you are all staying safe and healthy during this time.
Today we will be showing you guys how to sign the alphabet in American Sign Language. Let's get started.
A, B, C, D,
E, F, G, H,
I, J, K, L, M, N,
O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V,
W, X, Y, and Z.
Now you guys try to keep up.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now you know your ABCs. Next time, won't you say it with me?
Now, we
challenge you
to learn how
To sign
Your name.
Thank you for watching.
The video projects have been really great. It's actually something to look forward to watching and reviewing as they come in. And then as Danaly and I are doing it separately, there's like a message of, oh my gosh, this was awesome. That's been a really great part of this. Another part of this virtual after school program time that we have right now, time is what we have. We have the time to meet with each one of our site teams to work on CQI, and we've partnered with CAN. So Troy has been working with us alongside Tiffany to meet with each individual site team and talk to them about what were their goals this year, what did you accomplish, and what would you like to focus on for next year. And that time is a gift. I mean, when have we been able to sit uninterrupted and have the entire site team for as long as we need to in order to accomplish something? And, I think that normally looks like us meeting with the site coordinator and then the coordinator taking things back. And now we're able to include everybody. And we were just talking this morning about how we can continue to meet with them and maybe get some of our fall professional development done before we leave for the end of the year, which I think is huge. Yeah. And the other is ways to connect with kids. And that's what we're trying to figure out right now, given people are using their cell phones or their own, some of our staff may even struggle to have their own internet at home as well. So finding some ways of connecting with kids. We had one site coordinator who's been connected with her kids through Class Dojo. And she's had some students reach out to just check in and say, hey, this is what's going on for me. And she's been able to stay in communication with them. So we're looking into some of those. Other ways.
Could you let us know what Class Dojo is for those who are not familiar with that?
So Class Dojo is an app that was originally created to help with classroom management. So you could set up a roster of your students in there, and you could give points for certain behaviors, and you could actually take away points. And as it's evolved, it's now a system of communication because you can send that information home to parents, or you can communicate with students. And so it's become a platform that has the two-way communication to it.
Love that. Okay, thank you for sharing.
Given that we are running out of time, Danaly, is there anything else that you'd like to share? I kind of whipped through those very quickly.
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. You could tell in the video how we've been working with people remotely, because you could see someone's living room and then an office and all the different backgrounds. And it's been really neat to see how they edit things together. I think they've been using iMovie, Spark, Adobe, and then I think there's been one other program that they've used.
And how is that working? And so is that something that you guys told them about? You said like these are the things that and did you provide support and training for those particular things, or was it all on their own, kind of like figuring this out?
As of right now, it's been all on their own in terms of figuring it out, how to use it. The last meeting that we had with everybody, Ginger did do just a quick preview of what to look for. But all of the resources were shared with them prior to even having that meeting with them. And we also, let them know if they ever had any questions on how to use something, we're more than happy to help them navigate through any of the apps that they're using to edit.
Okay, awesome. All right. So number one, thank you so much. That was such great and so motivational. I'm inspired now, and I have to say that inspiration comes from being on a horrible call that not for the organization I was working for, but the messaging that they were saying in other parts of the country, they're making the choices now that there will be no after school next year. They're already starting to say, and this is the logic, they're saying, because we need to use that stuff for things that we need. Literally, I'm sitting in a meeting listening to people. And so when I see this work, I say, no, what you need to understand is that after school brings value. There's a lot that you can do if you partner with your after school programs. And I wanted to scream that at the meeting, and I wish I could have dragged those people to this call so I could say, you would rather buy materials than have these professionals creating this stuff and getting to know your kids? Come on. It makes no sense. So thank you so much. I think this is so powerful today. What I think is really important, and I think is apparent, is that stuff like this doesn't just happen in a bubble. And it just doesn't happen from the middle down. It doesn't happen from the site level down. What was the directive from the top that opened up the space for your staff members to do what they wanted to do? What was the messaging that came down about, okay, we're in this crisis now. This is what we're going to do. What was that message? Because I think that must have been unique and different, that spurred your staff members to feel like they had the ownership to do those amazing things and to have the flexibility in the space. So what was the message from the top? And actually, Ginger, I don't want you to answer it. I want Danaly to answer it.
What I was going to say is, Danaly, this is on you.
Yeah, I want Danaly to answer this.
I was on my way to unmute my mic. Well, I think a lot of them had the question about what happens next once they heard that, schools were shutting down until the first date that was given. And so, more than anything, I really wanted to explain to them that obviously, we have a great partnership with the school district and, trying to get it figured out to where we can continue having them work and really encouraging them to find ways that we could contribute or connect with the kids in our program was really the focus on that. So, keeping them as positive as I could within that time, just until we got final word of, yes, we were able to move forward with, all of this going on. And so it was in a meeting that I was having over at the recreation office about how we can keep our staff working, and the videos was something that was brought up, and it was an idea in terms of just, you know, working through the recreation social media. And then, you know, once we started talking with Ginger, it was something that it kind of evolved into, you know, spreading it to every outlet that we had. So, you know, the staff have had great feedback about, you know, just being happy that they're able to produce these types of projects and videos. So it's been a great resource that we were able to provide.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, now Ginger, now I'd love to hear from your, is there anything you want to add to that? Because I think she spoke very eloquently.
I promise you, Fred, all I was doing was unmuting to say, Danaly, can you take this? 'Cause the video and the inspiration for that came from Danaly. And as it's been created, she's been giving feedback like, gosh, you know, it'd be really great. I think we had it early on an origami lesson with white paper on a white table, so it was hard to see. And just giving those notes back to the staff to see what they can do with it. I think the videos are phenomenal because, as I typed in the chat, the city has built a really great relationship with the students they serve. And that's why they're there working with the kids. And because of that, when the kids watch these videos, they're going to see familiar faces.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's one of the things when we all meet in Zoom like this, it's like we get to see and interact with people that we are disconnected from right now.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's a connection that the video projects pull together for her, that pulled together for the staff. But the videos, I mean, that came from the city. That was an idea that they had, and I was like, let's do it. And as that's gone forward, we've added to it and said, okay, great, now let's do a little bit longer fitness video. And as I found out today, I think 15 minutes is our max to upload to our website. So we're now looking at where else can we store videos for the students.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm so impressed. All right, so Troy had another comment that he wanted, a question. So Troy.
I just want to take a moment and really recognize that, Fred, the question that you asked, neither of them will actually call this. What you're looking at and what you're seeing is true collaboration and true opportunity. You know, they both speak to it. I have the fortunate ability, like they said, to work with both of them. This started happening because of the supports that Ginger and Donnelly both come to co-create. Okay, there's a partnership and there's a collaboration there that I think it needs to be called out and it needs to be recognized, because those people that are creating those videos, those people that are doing and creating the curriculum and things like that, it comes because they feel supported and they feel like they have the platform to be able to do that. And that's because of these two women that are sitting here sharing some of this. It comes from their leadership.
Absolutely.
So I just needed to say that and tell them both here that I know that it happens because of what they do.
One thing I wanted to do, though, is before we leave, we're going to do a processing process, okay? We're going to go through a round of oral questions. This is an integral part of the training for those staff members who've been involved in the Expanded Learning School of Leadership and Facilitation, of which Patricia, who's on the call, has gone through it, and Beth Pine is going to lead us through that. Now, I understand that it's 2:26 and this is supposed to be an hour, but I would love for you folks to stick around for another 10 minutes to allow us to kind of wrap this conversation up and just go ahead and wrap this out in a nice formal way. So if you have to leave, we understand, and I appreciate you being on the call, but I'm going to turn it over to Beth, and if you give us just about another 10 minutes, and then we'll be able to wrap it up and we'll be able to let you guys go. All right, so Beth, you ready?
I am.
All right.
I'm going to piggyback. Danaly made a comment a while back about this being an opportunity that we wouldn't normally have. And, you know, not to be like Pollyanna about the pandemic, but it has given opportunities for people. And so we have this opportunity to connect with our kids differently. And so, so just wanted to, first of all, make a couple of observations and then do a little self check-in. So the first observation is that we are connecting with kids, and we are connecting with families, and I've been on enough calls with enough different groups to know that we're all connecting in one way or another, and that's what is the most important, is that we're connecting with our kids. The second observation is that we are all in a different spot where technology is concerned. And another shout out to Danaly that's saying that, sorry, I got to plug in my computer, wouldn't you know, that these kids, are getting some awesome videos that are so professional looking. So just to take a minute to do a little self-reflection on what is it that your kids, your families, your community needs for connection, and where are you in the technology process? Like for me, I still try to open my laptop from the hinge side. And like the touch mouse pad sends me like through the roof. I can't figure it out. It mystifies me. So where are you at with your technology? And that's where you're at. Like, it's just a self-reflection. Where are you? How do you feel about it? Is there a mental block? Is it insurmountable? And so just, so I'll just take a couple of responses. If thoughts about that, connections, technology, just a couple of responses from the group, if I could, if anybody wants to share.
Okay, I see Patricia.
So I'm not very tech savvy. I have no social media. I don't know how to post anything. So that's all a challenge to me. All of this is new. I don't ever take selfies. I don't do any of that stuff. So I did a video with our kids that we're going to put out, and I shared with them. I learned how to put backgrounds on Zoom. So I'm learning. That's about like all I've learned. But so I mean, I feel okay navigating the basics, but other than that, I don't know how to put videos together or anything like that, like to edit them. I'll figure it out though.
Awesome. That's kind of the thing, is that we're all, for many of us, some people already had an idea of how to do all this, and for many of us, we're just trying to figure it out as we go. And I got to tell you, from my experience, the kids are doing, are helping me get through that. Is there anybody else that wants to share anything about, how they're connecting with the community or their technology? Elizabeth?
Thank you. Yes, I was just going to say that I'm fortunate to work with a younger group of Core A teachers, and so they're very skilled. And so I've been pairing up with the 5th grade wing to get videos out and play family trivia games. So I feel fortunate to have that ability, because I do need some help.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that out, Elizabeth. Maybe one more. Is there anybody else that wants to share? Okay, so I'm going to do, since we're like already over time, I'm just going to do a quick wrap up with you. I want to ask you just one quick question, and hopefully everybody will take a moment, think about it, and share out with me. And thank you again to Ginger and Danaly. Really enjoyed seeing what you guys were doing. So my question is, thinking about connecting with your kids and thinking about what we've seen today or talked about today, what's next? what's next for you? What are your next steps? What jumped out as something that you really want to incorporate, or what are you thinking would be a great thing for next steps for you? And what I'd like to do, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I'd like to just go in the order I see you on my screen. So guess what, Fred? You're the first one.
I'm going to figure out a way to tell the story of what's going on down in Oxnard so people will see this. I think it is really important that we show that after school freaking matters. I'm sorry. I know that I'm on this trip because if you had been on that call I was just on, you would understand I was infuriated when I left it because they just don't get the work that you guys do. And so this is such a great visual representation of this is what we can do when we partner with our after school. Is don't see them as something that we can just write off and say, oh, well, we'll do that in another year. No, you can't. So I really appreciate that. I'm very inspired by it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Thank you, Fred. Jesse, you're next on my screen.
Was it me?
Yes.
So I think for us, we started with them, with the kids seeing the content, but a lot of the things that we're doing now is kind of like we did the challenge, or kind of incorporate like an action item for them to kind of share that, and now making them the creators of content and kind of evolving that and taking that next step forward.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks, Jesse, for sharing that, and thanks for being on the call today. And Pam, I have you next.
Okay, I think the next step for all of us is when we're able to physically be back with our kids, that we don't take the time and relationships for granted. Because now I think not having that contact with them, with building that relationship, I think we all kind of miss it. And so I think that's where we need to go, remind everybody of that when we are able to get back with them.
For sure. That's great, Pam. And yeah, the kids I talk to, man, they just totally miss seeing your faces, hearing your voice. Daniel, you're next on my screen.
Basically, kind of piggybacking off of what Pam said, I think the next step for us is really sharing that with the staff about, not taking the time that they have with the kids for granted. We're obviously working on the technology side and creating these videos for them, but I think once it comes down to actually being in the classrooms with them is really taking advantage and using that time wisely, connecting with them when they're there.
And Ginger?
I think really literally the next step is to really push this out to get kids to jump in and access the content. But long term, it's very likely that we're going to return to this type of environment in the fall. And I think planning out and preparing, building systems that make it a little bit easier to support our students when they're not connected to us at the school is going to be very valuable and is worth a huge investment of our time right now, so that if we ever have to do this again, we can stay connected with our kids at home.
Thank you, Ginger. Wendy?
For me, I'm definitely going to take the front door fiesta, so I'm going to try to make it a thing over here in my little Fontana. But then I also think that this was really inspiring. It makes me excited because I'm the kind of person that hits the ground running with 1,000 ideas to try to see what's going to get a yes. So this is just another one that I want to do. It's been a little secret hidden agenda goal. So now that I feel like I've had the resources, I'm very grateful to have heard of this and got like a lot of best practices for me to be able to instantly do this. And I also think because I was apprehensive about, let me record myself and then do something and not embarrass myself. But yeah, I think it just made it as simple that it could be. So yeah, definitely gonna try to hit the ground running with it.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that front door fiesta. Sarah, are you still there? Sarah, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out the text. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Sarah. Great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just been really hard working from home. All this tech is totally new to me too, but I'm trying my hardest and my best. So yeah, but it's good to see everybody.
That's great. Thank you, Sarah. Vincent, you're next.
Hello. So we've been doing our check-ins at both of our sites. So I've been doing 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday with our families. And I really enjoyed the sign language challenge, and I want to incorporate that into my program. And I've been working with families, mainly the parents, to make sure they know that we're here and how to support them, because a lot of families didn't know that their students had Gmail accounts, even though it's locked into the district because of the age range. So we have been working and connecting parents to technology, and I want to make sure when this is over and we move into next school year that families and our program continues to use this technology to keep students connected. So then that way, if something comes up in the future or the planned power outages or things like that, that we are still connected with students and we can send materials and just keep things on without a hitch.
I love that, Vincent. That, like, we always want to revert to the familiar and to make sure that we keep it going and that we aren't having to start from square one. I love that. Brazil.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Brazil.
So I guess I guess overall I was really just kind of inspired, and I was on I met with my staff earlier, and I was very happy just because we sort of had been thinking about, we had been working on a lot on enrichment type activities. And so now I was just so thankful that we sort of had done that groundwork, because it's really so possible to translate these things into, into online. So I love the setup, and I think it's putting more ideas in my head, which is where I'm kind of at right now. I'm like in my vacuum cleaner phase where I'm just trying to suck everything up and, kind of put it together to see what will work for me. And so, like, my idea was more of the Zoom classes and having it live interactions, but the videos are really a nice, it's almost takes a lot of the pressure off of things. And I think for me, it would just be more of a venue to showcase the, whatever the content that we can create. So, now I just know what more things I need to think about. I have a little spreadsheet with about 1 million tabs already with all of the new things that I have to figure out. But I'm very, very thankful for this whole thing. So appreciate it.
I love that analogy, Brazil. Keep hoovering. And Troy.
I think that I put it in the chat, like, really kind of, I feel like my next step is just to continue to remind people to be kind to themselves, because you all have prefaced this. We all, the reality of this is like, we're going through this as a globe. I've never been in a position in my life that the whole globe is going through the same thing. And the only thing that I could actually think of to correlate it to was like the Olympics, either the Summer or Winter Olympics. But if you're not a sports person, you're not attached to that at all. So just reminding people to be kind. Like, the tech sucks at times. There are the gaps and things like that. Every little thing that you all are doing matters to one person. And if you continue to keep that in mind, we're going to be just fine. So.
Yeah, I have to say, Troy, like, I think we're only getting like 10% of our students getting onto our Google Classrooms. But you know what? If that's what we're getting, that's enough. So whoever you're reaching, that's who you're reaching. Thank you, Troy. And I have Dolores. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. So I just really want to try and connect more with the kids, because I've really only heard from like 4 kids out of my whole class. and I want to try and start doing more STEM projects and like recording them, like, and showing the kids, because that's what they really like. And like, I felt really bad because right before this all started, we were going to make volcanoes, and that was their favorite project.
So I have no doubt Dolores is one of my awesome staff members. I have no doubt she's going to still make volcanoes with the kids this year. I just want to say that that for me, the next steps is to continue to push for recognition of all the wonderful work that that happens in expanded learning, recognition of my own staff and the awesome work that they're doing in trying to reach kids, and then just connections with each other and connections with the kids. And these Zoom calls have been amazing. And just one more time, thanks to Fred and Troy and Ginger and Danaly for making this possible for us today. And thank you, Fred, for inviting me to co-host. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for sticking around a little bit later.
No worries. You don't have to thank me, Beth. Thank you for showing up and doing your thing. You were awesome. Give Beth a big round of applause. She did a good job.
Thank you.
So I know I've kept you 15 minutes too long, so I'm going to let you go. Let's give another big round of applause for our guests, the Danaly and the They did an amazing job. I know you guys are all as inspired as I do. So before I leave, I always like to end these things by just to let you know that I know I experienced it today, the way people don't value the work of after school. I'm going to try not to get upset again. If no one else has told you how valuable you are, if no one else has told you how beautiful you are, if no one else has told you that when your kids are not around you, they miss you. They miss you. Let me tell you, you do a valuable thing. You do an amazing thing, and don't you let anyone tell you that you are any less. I appreciate it. If no one else has told you that, thank God for you. Pat yourselves on the back for me. Give yourselves a big hug for me. I appreciate you showing up for this crazy webinar. Thank you, Beth, for coming on and doing your thing. Troy, anything you want to say before you wrap it up? We wrap it up?
Just thank you. Continue to keep up the great work. And, you know, if you need any resources from Ken, we're here.
Awesome. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend.